This is Chris with Phoenix Gaming. Today I wanted to give everybody an idea of what the Halo Wars game is that I've been talking about. It's the game I've been working on with my son. So we're going to do a brief overview on what it is and how it works. And I will post the rules in the description, and I'll probably do a comment with them as well. So feel free to download those, read through them, tell me what you think, what you like, what you don't like. Any constructive criticism or feedback I can get that could make it better will be appreciated. And as always, keep in mind it is a work in progress, so it is not a finished, polished project. So there's going to be typos, there's going to be some errors. I understand that. So only bring those types of things up to me if they're very glaring. If it's just minor stuff, I will probably catch it. If it's very glaring, it may be an intentional thing, and I may need to revisit it to make sure I understand how to write it more concisely. Like I said, it's a tabletop game. I'm writing it with my son. It's designed to be played with Halo Mega Blocks. And, obviously 3D printed minis and proxy minis would work just as well. But that's what we had in mind when we were playing it. He was building a set, and he was like, "Dad, what would be cool is if we had a game we could play with these." And I was like, "Bet, we'll do that." So that's what we've been working on. I've talked about it quite a bit, so now I want to give everybody just a sneak peek on it. It is a faster-paced, alternating activation game, and it is made with the intent of having my 9-year-old be able to understand it and play it. And he really loves Halo, and that love of Halo is really what spawned this. So, the game structure, and that's really what we're going to focus on today, is how the game is structured. I think if you download it, it'll all make sense anyway, but this way, you understand what it is the game's actually about. Every game is made up of rounds, with the number of rounds being determined by the mission being played. Each round is made up of phases, and those 3 phases are the initiative phase, the action phase, and the cleanup phase. In the initiative phase, each player will roll off to determine who activates first. Certain abilities, such as active camo, are activated in this phase, and those abilities will tell you in their ability description. And then once all of that is done and complete, you move on to the action phase, and this is where the game basically takes place. The player that won the roll-off for going first selects one unit from their army and performs actions with that unit. Once that unit has finished activating, meaning it's performed all the actions it can or wants to perform, then the other player does the same thing, and then those players alternate until all units have activated. Once everybody's done activating, we move to the cleanup phase. Initially, I had morale written into it. It's still in the rules, but it's probably coming out for simplicity's sake. Again, the design is intended to be usable by younger kids, teens, preteens that have never really played games like this. So it's one of those where I think we're going to just scrap the morale for this game specifically and then use it for some of the other games in the library that I'll be building. In addition to that, you'll have certain abilities and effects that end, and they will tell you, such as active camo, it tells you it ends at this point, or at this point, or at this point. So certain things will have different triggers, but they will tell you. And then you always score all of your objectives in the cleanup phase as well. So that'll be one of those where, as you read the missions, as I write the missions and you read the missions, you'll see how things interact with different phases. And you really just do this until you reach the end of the game. So if the mission says you play 6 rounds, then you play 6 rounds. We're going to touch on actions briefly. It's not going to take super long. There's going to be a number of them, like move or charge or shoot, etc. And certain units will have access to special actions, like the Warthog. As long as you have a driver and a gunner, will have access to the I forget what I called it in the rules, but it will have access to a special action that lets it move and shoot in the same action. So that'll, and then each unit will have a number of action points, and that will let them know how many actions it may perform. So a Ghost might have 3 action points, but it can either move or shoot. But the Warthog might have 2 action points, but it can move and shoot. And that's just kind of a way to separate the two. Like the Ghost is very clearly more mobile, so it could take 3 move actions if it wanted to. but the Warthog has a separate person operating its weapon, so it's able to do both at the same time more efficiently. So again, it's just a way to help things kind of stand out and be separate. Units can repeat actions, though certain actions will incur penalties for each action performed beforehand, and those will tell you. So for example, if you move and then shoot, the shoot will be at -1 for performing an action before performing the shoot action. And a good example of this is, again, if we go back to the Ghost, it has 3 actions. It could move, and then it could move, and then it could shoot. But because it performed 2 actions before shooting, it's going to be at a -2 penalty to its hit rolls. And there won't be any cap at how far you can get penalized, but 6s will always hit. So even if you get a -10 modifier, your 6s are still going to hit. You cannot be penalized out of ever being able to hit something. And like I said, missions, I'm currently writing them and the objectives, but the game is very playable from a playtesting standpoint. And really, if you're a 40k or Sigmar player, you could at least use the deployment zones and objectives for that for now, to just get things on the table and check out the moving pieces. And I will post more videos explaining more mechanics as we go, and I will start doing videos on my fantasy game because I've gotten a bulk of that written as well. And I think it's just time to start sharing that with everybody. So big thank you for watching. I will start doing my shout-outs again on Patreon here soon. And I will have the playtesting Discord link in the description, and I will have the rules link in the description. Again, thank you so much. Have a great day.